what she calls it, subconscious. Okay. So, okay, so that's what I have to say. Okay, so during the video, be sure that you are using CNR. You understand? I mean, listening and be aware. So do heart breath, no reality. What are those other things? Oh, for being, to feel, to know that. Okay. So no reality means to be aware of what is actually happening. Do you understand that?
Quick question.
Yes.
Slide from fear.
Very good.
How do we do that? Help, help, help.
Are you talking about that?
That's
you...
CNR, right? Slide from fear.
Uh-huh.
CNR. Okay. Okay.
Very good. That's really important. Okay. Good. Oh.
Ooh, Sut City.
Hi, Satsidi. Okay. So,
wow.
It's very hard if anybody tries to come here later. So, Japa Saraswati, can you just quickly talk about what she...
Oh, Sut City, we just had the most amazing conversation about AI because the screen asked me to enable AI companion, and we were talking about that we've been watching AI generated videos and the energetic implications of that, how much energy it costs to make this content. And also that we want to disable the AI companions for a variety of reasons. And everybody sort of chimed in. And it was a really robust conversation. I'm really, really grateful for it. And I hope that we all continue to discuss these things together as they affect our group. And I love it. I love the group consciousness, and I love the people who come when they can.
Okay, can you tell her about don't worry about the scariness, okay?
Oh yes. So the video that we're about to screen is intense, and to be in CNR during this intense video.
Okay.
And no fear. Slide away from the fear and stay with the heart breath.
And can I just add, I forget who taught us this, but it's when you break fear down, it's false expectations appearing real. Fear.
Oh. Okay. Well, we are still talking about AI because about bifurcation. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the difficulty with the crap is also from AI. Reality is actually from those ideas. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the reason we should not use the news, because we need to use our own
intuition,
the higher frequencies, because crazy things. But we need to go with the higher frequencies. Okay. So we know about that now. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
So
thank you. No.
City Gian, we haven't tuned in yet. Let's tune in and I'll start the video. Do you want to watch the Instagram first or the YouTube first?
no, because we have the the writing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So we're going to tune in and then continue from the message and so on.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So
let's tune in.
yeah, breathe in and exhale. And continue to be present. Know who you really are. Pure self. Okay, so now hands together. Oh, by the way, now it's going to be longer today, but that's okay. That's okay. Now breathe and inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Ankare Name, Yugakare Name, Sakare Name,
Siri
Sirikare Name,
Ankara
Ankare Name, Yugakare
Guru
Name, Sakare
Guru Namaha. Siri Guru
Sirikare Name, Ankare Name, Yugakare Sakare Name, Sirikare Name. Breathe. And do we have the recording? Good. Okay. So, Japa Saraswati, continue.
Okay, so number 816, Delores Cannon's about the Ascension. The volunteers are waking up in 2026. First, we tune in. Message: Dear sweet light workers, here are the sovereign protocols that we saw from last week's video from Delores Cannon. Sovereign protocol. Step 1, frequency hygiene. Refuse rage, anger, depression, etc. Step 2, execute observer mode. Refuse to react. Step 3, synchronize with the crystalline grid, fifth dimension with higher frequencies.
And thank you for Aagia Pal to put them together. Go ahead.
Silence is the greatest weapon. Our mission is to be an anchor, to stand in the storm but not get wet. Connect with the living intelligence of the earth. As you know from last week, you saw AI's video. You will see an AI video for today's video. Stay with CNR during the video. I wonder if those dates are exact, but we saw October 18th, 2026 is when Delores Cannon said that date was for Ascension for the fifth dimension, and the two astrologists said that about that time was for very important times, fireworks as well. So just remain with loving for yourself with CNR. No worries, no fear. Just stay in your true self. So don't get upset. Just be. Listen from Harimandir's video from Instagram, from kind Delores Cannon, and then afterwards see the next AI video. Just stay loving and stable. Anchor from your soul and Baba Siddhi Chand. So Delores Cannon's video and Harimandir's video. And here's this one. Meditation is 1 minute of heart pumping, 5 minutes of CNR, consciousness, no reality, which is strong heart breath, belly breath, nose inhalation 6 seconds, nose exhale 6 seconds. From out of your heart center, slide from fear, let go from any of your nasty, difficult old stuff, no reality, no thinking or everyday self, but only feel, just be light. Then 2 minutes to become awareness, and then understand what happened from your everyday self. Use your notes. Listen and share. Lots of love, Siri Gian.
Great. Okay. Does anybody understand that? Not understand? Okay. Okay. So let's go with Delores Cannon. And
Which one do you want? Do you want the Instagram first or do you want the YouTube first?
Instagram.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm doing so much tech at once.
Earth are changing to what's called the new earth. And this is in the Bible too, in the book of Revelations, when they talk about the new heaven and the new earth. It's just that it's happening right now.
And what are these changes going to be once they've happened? I mean, is the economy part of the change?
Oh, economy won't matter at all.
Well, the collapse of the current economy. I mean, is this part of this big change that's going
You
on?
call it collapse, and we don't. It's that the world you're living in, okay. It all depends on what world you're focusing on.
What world are you focusing on?
The positive. My company is booming. I don't have any problems. See, it depends on what world do you live in.
Well,
But the old earth is where all of these things will be left.
what happens if you don't want the change? What happens if you want to live in this old world? That
You'll
you call
stay
it?
with what you have created.
So where are you going?
I'm going with what's beautiful and positive.
Okay, so there's not people aren't leaving the planet as such, but there is a conscious
Two
shift.
planets. It's separating into two.
But I thought that's what you meant, yeah.
The old earth and the new earth.
Not a physical separation.
Yes. But you won't notice anything has happened.
So are you talking about, like, for example, like a dimensional shift? Where some of us, we're not going to know the shift's happened.
Into another dimension. It's happening now. It started in 2003 and it's happening right now. We are moving into the new earth. And people don't even notice. It's not going to just be bam and you're there. It's a gradual thing. It's been happening.
Do you think people are going to are finding, should I say, this change quite testing right now?
Well, you're going through a lot of things to see. Main thing is getting rid of the karma. You're going through a testing time. Do you want to stay with the old earth? Do you want to stay on the wheel of karma? Or do you want to move on where there is no karma in the new earth? And where it's beautiful and wonderful? Is that what you want to do?
But is no karma going to make us spiritually grow?
It's more spiritual than you can even ever imagine. And many, many people are moving there. They're moving into it right now.
consciously or unconsciously?
They don't know it consciously. But in order to move, our vibrations and frequencies of our own bodies have to change to match that of the earth as it moves. See, the earth is a living being, too, and it's moving into its next incarnation. It doesn't care if we go with it. We're just as happy if we didn't go with it. We're like fleas on a dog. The entire earth is moving into another dimension. Another vibrations and frequencies of the whole earth are changing to what's called the new earth. And this is in the Bible too, in the book of Revelations, when they talk about the new heaven and the new earth. It's happening right now.
And what are these changes going to be once they've happened? I mean, is the economy part of the change?
Oh, economy won't matter at all.
Well, the collapse of the current economy, I mean, is this part of this big change that's going
You
on?
call it collapse, and we don't. Is that the world you're living in? Okay.
I think we've seen it, the whole thing through.
Okay, thank you.
Let me queue up the next video. Hold on one second.
It all depends on what world you're.
Did you hear that over and over again? Say that.
Yes, you guys did too?
Yes, please.
Okay. So now second video. We're ready.
High-pitched humming in your ears that seems to come from nowhere. The sudden, overwhelming exhaustion that hits you in the middle of the day. That growing, unshakable feeling that you no longer belong in the world of 2026. It isn't a medical condition, and you aren't going crazy. It's an alarm clock. What if I told you that your soul signed a hidden contract before you were ever born? What if I told you that the chaos unfolding across the globe right now isn't a series of random accidents, but a calculated transition? And what if I told you that a woman who has been dead for over a decade saw you right here in this exact moment? Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will shake you to your core. Her name was Delores Cannon. Delores passed away in 2014. She never saw the headlines of today. She never witnessed the specific political storms of 2026. Yet, buried within thousands of hours of her documented hypnotic sessions is a terrifyingly accurate map of your current reality. How could a woman who died years ago describe the exact physical symptoms you felt when you woke up this morning? How could she predict the Great Split of 2026, a moment when the very fabric of our society begins to tear apart at the seams? Delores spent 30 years as a pioneer of past life regression, reaching a level of the subconscious mind that few even knew existed. She called it the subconscious, with a capital S. And from that deep well of cosmic memory, she extracted a secret that was never meant for the masses. Until now. She spoke of a specific group of souls. She called them the volunteers. If you've always felt like an outsider, if you felt a strange, deep-seated homesickness for a place you've never been, then the records suggest you didn't come here to participate in the drama. You came here to end it. But the window is closing. The cognitive glitch you are experiencing, that sense that time is accelerating and reality is becoming fluid, is the first sign of your activation. Delores warned that in 2026, the first wave would reach a point of no return. A point where the contract you signed must be fulfilled or lost forever. The reason for your awakening in 2026 is far more shocking than you've been led to believe. And to understand it, we must look at the evidence she left behind. Evidence that has been proven right, time after time after time. You might be asking yourself, why should I trust the words of a photographer from Arkansas? Why should a series of hypnotic sessions recorded decades ago carry any weight in the high-tech, chaotic world of 2026? Because Delores Cannon didn't just guess the future, she documented it. Her track record isn't built on vague mystical claims. It is built on 30 years of clinical observation and thousands of recorded sessions with people from all walks of life. Scientists, doctors, high-level professionals. And the statistical probability of what she discovered defies coincidence. First, let us look at the QHHT method itself. This wasn't a carnival trick. It was a deep dive into the human subconscious that has been verified by modern practitioners globally. In the 1980s, long before the term biohacking or neuroplasticity became mainstream, Delores was documenting cases of spontaneous healing that the medical establishment of the time couldn't explain. She proved that the mind has the power to override physical reality. Today, modern science is finally catching up to what she recorded 40 years ago. Second, consider the Earth's frequency. Decades ago, Delores began talking about a shift in the vibration of the planet. She warned that the Earth's heartbeat was accelerating. At the time, she was dismissed. But look at the data now. Scientists call it the Schumann resonance, and in recent years, specifically leading up to 2026, we have seen unprecedented spikes in this frequency. Spikes that correlate exactly with the physical symptoms Delores described: the headaches, the vertigo, the sudden quickening of time. She saw the data before the sensors were even built. Third, and perhaps most chilling, was her prediction of the technological digital cage. In her books, written in a time when computers were still massive machines in basements, she documented sessions warning about the rise of artificial intelligence and its role in the Great Split. She spoke of a time when humanity would be forced to choose between a synthetic reality and a natural evolution. She described the 2020s as the decade where this choice would become unavoidable. Look around you. Look at the screens. Look at the blurring lines between human and machine. She told us this was coming. The reason her 2026 prophecy carries such weight is because the old world she predicted would collapse is currently crumbling exactly as she said it would. She documented the breakdown of traditional institutions, the failure of debt-based economies, and the rising inward turn of the younger generations. These weren't just theories. They were recorded observations from thousands of people who had no connection to each other, yet told the exact same story of the future. When a source is right about the past with such haunting precision, the burden of proof shifts. It is no longer a question of if Delores Cannon was right. It is a question of whether we are brave enough to listen to what her records say about what happens next. Because according to those records, the transition we are entering in 2026 is the most critical moment in human history. And the volunteers she spoke of are being activated right now. If you are still here, it is because your internal compass recognized the signal. Delores didn't call you a spectator. She called you an anchor. Think about your life for a moment. Have you always felt like an observer, watching the world from a distance, even when you were in the middle of a crowd? Have you carried a strange, inexplicable longing for a home that doesn't exist on any map? This is the first mark of the frequency keepers. In her thousands of sessions, Delores decoded 3 distinct archetypes, 3 waves of souls who volunteered for this specific window in 2026. The first archetype she called the pioneers. These are the ones who arrived decades ago. They were the system busters. They felt the wrongness of the world long before it became obvious to the masses. If you have spent your life fighting against invisible walls, if you have been the black sheep of your family because you couldn't accept the lies of the old system. You are a pioneer. Your mission was to crack the foundation. And in 2026, your work is finally coming to light. The second archetype is the stabilizers. You might feel like you haven't done enough. You don't lead movements. You don't have a massive platform. But your presence, the very way you walk through a room, changes the vibration of everyone around you. Delores found that many volunteers were simply here to be, to act as a lightning rod for the new frequency. In 2026, as the world becomes increasingly volatile, your inner calm is the only thing keeping the local grid from collapsing. The third archetype, and perhaps the most critical for this exact moment, are the gatekeepers. These are the ones waking up right now. You are the ones who feel a sudden, urgent need to change everything. Your career, your location, your relationships. It feels like a magnetic pull you can no longer ignore. Why now? Because in 2026, the gates are opening. Delores discovered that these archetypes aren't just personality types. They are biological functions. You are the cells of a new organism. And that itch you feel under your skin, that restlessness in your spirit, is the signal that your archetype is being called to its station. You aren't a bystander in this global drama. You are the hidden infrastructure of a new Earth. But there is a catch. Delores warned that the frequency keepers would face a specific type of resistance as we approach the final months of 2026. A resistance designed to make you doubt your own identity, to make you believe you are small or powerless. Do you recognize yourself in these descriptions? If the answer is yes, then the next phase of the 2026 transition will require you to understand the 3 shocks that are about to hit the system. Because for the volunteers, the test is no longer about survival. It is about remembering exactly who you are. We are entering the ladder of escalation. Delores Cannon was clear. The transition to a new Earth wouldn't be a quiet whisper. It would be a series of shocks designed to break the hold of the old world. These are not accidents. They are frequency filters. The first rung of the ladder hits the very foundation of your perceived security, the economy. In her sessions, specifically documented in the late reading series, she spoke of the crumbling of the gold-plated excess. She wasn't just talking about a stock market crash. She was talking about a total failure of the 3D debt-based matrix. In 2026, the money that used to buy influence will no longer be able to buy peace. This is the moment when the volunteers must lead by example. When everyone else is panicking over digits on a screen, you will be the ones who understand that the only real currency left is your internal vibration. The second rung is the appearance of the great catalyst. Delores described a specific archetype of leader who would emerge during this window. A figure of intense division, a mirror. This figure isn't here to fix the system. He is here to shatter the illusion of it. He acts as a lightning rod, forcing every individual to look within and decide, do you choose the frequency of anger and control or the frequency of evolution? In 2026, this social friction will reach a fever pitch. It is designed to be loud. It is designed to be distracting. It is a test of your focus. Can you see the drama without becoming the drama? But the third rung, the one that sits at the top of this ladder, is the most shocking of all. Delores called it the Great Split. This is not a metaphor. This is the moment when the road finally forks. In her final recordings, specifically Case Study 3976, she described a phenomenon that defies conventional physics. She saw two Earths occupying the same space, but vibrating at different speeds. She warned that in late 2026, the gap between these two frequencies would become so wide that they would no longer be able to see or interact with each other. Imagine a world where you are standing in the same room as someone, but you are living in two completely different realities. One of fear, scarcity, and control, and one of light, abundance, and peace. The split is the final graduation. And the escalation you are seeing in the news, the chaos in the streets, and the tension in the air are simply the birth pains of this separation. The higher we climb this ladder, the thinner the air becomes for those who refuse to change. But for you, the volunteers, this escalation is the signal you've been waiting for. It is the proof that the old world has lost its grip. And as we move toward the specific months of late 2026, the pressure will only intensify until there is nothing left to do but let go. Timing is not a suggestion. In the cosmic architecture Delores Cannon described, it is a mathematical certainty. While many talk about the 2020s in vague terms, Delores' records point to a very specific high-intensity window, a window that begins to close in the final months of 2026, specifically between August and November of that year. Why this exact time frame? In her final years of research, specifically within the data of case study number 5112, a consistent pattern emerged from the subconscious of subjects who had no contact with each other. They spoke of a frequency gate, a moment when the planetary vibrations reach a peak that the physical body and the old systems can no longer ignore. This is the micro-timing of the Great Shift. August 2026 is described as the month of the heat, not just in temperature, but in the friction of human souls. It is the month where the static becomes unbearable. You will see it in the eyes of those around you, a sense of frantic urgency or a total unexplained withdrawal from reality. By September and October, the records suggest a digital silence, a disruption in the invisible webs that hold our modern world together. Delores warned that during this period, your reliance on external technology will be tested, forcing you to rely on the internal signal you have been developing as a volunteer. Then, we reach November 2026. This is the point of no return. In the sessions, subjects described November as a referendum on the soul, a moment where the timeline you have chosen becomes locked. It is the final convergence. The window of departure Delores spoke of begins its closing sequence here. This level of specificity is what makes these records so dangerous to the old paradigm. Because when you have a date, you have a deadline. If you are hearing this now, in 2025, you are in the preparation window. Delores was adamant, you do not wait for the gate to open before you learn how to walk through it. The physical symptoms you are feeling today, the vertigo, the time slips, the sudden intense vividness of your dreams, are all leading to this specific 4-month crescendo in late 2026. This is why the urgency you feel in your chest isn't just anxiety. It is your internal clock, counting down to the moment the contract must be fulfilled. The records of Case 5112 were not meant for the people of the past. They were a time capsule, designed to be opened right now. We are no longer talking about if it will happen. We are looking at the calendar, and the clock is ticking. It is easy to look at the world in 2026 and pick a side. It is easy to feel the heat of anger or the weight of despair. It is easy to see heroes and villains, saviors and demons. But Delores Cannon saw something else entirely. In her thousands of hours of exploration, she didn't see a political battlefield. She saw a classroom. She understood that the figures who disrupt our world, those who polarize our nations and shatter our comfort, are not here to be loved or hated. They are here as catalysts. Think of a karmic catalyst, a force of nature that arrives to act as a mirror for the entire human race. They are not the cause of the chaos. They are the ones who pull the veil back, so that the chaos already hidden within us can finally be seen and cleared. Delores was adamant about this. Every soul currently on Earth agreed to be here for this exact drama. Every leader, every disruptor, and every crisis is playing a pre-written role in a cosmic script designed to force a choice. If there were no friction, there would be no evolution. If the old world didn't become unbearable, no one would ever seek the new Earth. So, as we move through the storms of late 2026, your role as a frequency keeper is not to win the argument. It is not to defeat an enemy. It is to recognize the play for what it is. When you stop reacting, you start ascending. When you realize that the chaos is actually a divine sandpaper designed to polish the diamond of your consciousness, the fear vanishes. This is the neutral pivot. It is the moment you stop being a victim of the timeline and start being the observer of it. You are not here to fight the old world. You are here to outgrow it. The figures on the world stage are simply doing their job, and it is time for you to do yours. Because once you see the catalyst for what it really is, you no longer need the crisis to wake you up. You are already awake. And for those who are awake, the signs of what comes next are already appearing. How will you know for sure? How can you distinguish between the noise of the world and the signal of the great shift? Delores Cannon left behind a checklist, a set of validation signs that would emerge as the gate begins to close in late 2026. Listen carefully. You may want to record these, or return to this list as the months unfold to verify your own reality. Sign number 1, the 3 a.m. aperture. You will find yourself waking up between 3 and 4 in the morning, not with anxiety, but with a strange, buzzing clarity. This is the window when the veil is thinnest and the 5D frequency is at its peak. It is your download period. Sign number 2, the dietary rejection. A sudden, unexplained aversion to heavy, dense foods, especially meats and processed chemicals. Your body is attempting to lighten its density to match the rising Schumann resonance. Do not fight it. Sign number 3, the time slip. You will experience lost time or doubled events. You will feel as though hours have passed in minutes, or you will walk into a room and realize your consciousness was flickering between 2 different versions of the same space. These are the cognitive glitches Delores warned about. Sign number 4, the collapse of the pillars. In the external world, a major, centuries-old institution, something previously thought to be too big to fail, will suffer a sudden and catastrophic loss of credibility. Whether financial or religious, the false abundance will vanish overnight in late 2026. Sign number 5, the atmospheric shift. Unexplained light phenomena in the sky, and a visible change in the colors of the sunset. The atmosphere itself is changing its refractive index as the 2 Earths begin to separate. Sign number 6, the digital silence. A significant disruption in global communications, a moment when the invisible web goes dark, forcing the volunteers to rely solely on their internal signal and telepathic intuition. If you see 3 or more of these signs appearing simultaneously, then the 2026 window has reached its crescendo. Delores was adamant. These signs are not meant to frighten you. They are your confirmation. They are the markers on the map, proving that the transition is not just a theory. It is happening. Take note of these markers. Save them. Share them with those who are beginning to wake up. Because when the world looks like it is falling apart, those who have the checklist will know it is actually falling into place. And once these signs are validated, there is only one step left: the final oath. You are not here by accident. You did not find this information, or this exact moment in time, by chance. The algorithm didn't bring you here. Your frequency did. Delores Cannon spent her life documenting the hidden architecture of the soul, but she wasn't doing it for the people of her time. She was doing it for you. You are the one who has felt the wrongness of the world since you were a child. You are the one who carried the weight of a mission you couldn't quite remember until now. You are the lighthouse in the storm of 2026. The transition is here. The world is splitting. And you are the ones holding the fabric of reality together. Do not let the chaos of the old world dim your light. Do not let the fear of the masses pull you back into the dense frequency of the past. You volunteered for the front lines of this evolution because you were the only ones strong enough to survive the awakening. We are headed for the greatest crisis humanity has ever known. But we are also headed for the greatest transformation in the history of consciousness. Can we change the timeline? Delores would say, we already are. By being here, by remembering, by refusing to vibrate in fear, you are creating the bridge to the new earth. The gate is closing. The signal is clear. Your contract is active. Are you ready to hold the frequency? Are you ready to fulfill the mission you came here to achieve? This is not a choice you make once. It is a choice you make with every breath, through the end of 2026 and beyond. The future isn't something that happens to us. It is something we create together. If you accept this mission, if you recognize your role as a volunteer, then make your mark. Affirm it to the universe. Leave your comment below, and let the record show your intention. I am ready.
And now, 1 minute heart pumping and begin. And now, 5 minutes CNR.
you go.
Two minutes. 2 minutes to become awareness and then understand what happened from EDS. Use your notes. Inhale and breathe. And now, Aagia Pal, are you ready?
Okay. So I went into CNR and the red ruby crystal began to uh, throb. It began to
What?
throb. It began to like um, um, flash on and flash on and off. It began to move within me, and yeah, it began to just flash. And before before I knew it, I fell down like exponentially many steps, and I was in the depths of um, this red ruby crystalline atmosphere, the frequency of it, and one would think that, wow, this is great, this is wonderful, but for me it was, ooh, too much pressure. Ooh, I'm not used to this. Ooh, um, uncomfortable. It's kind of like a scuba diver who, as they go deeper into the water, you have to equalize the pressure, and with your ears and so on, and you don't just go down fast. You go to a certain depth, and you accustom yourself to it and so forth. But what I did was I just found myself in a free fall, down, 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 down. And there I found myself in, yeah, in a very uncomfortable place, and realized that I needed to take it more slowly, I guess. And I remember saying, hey, where's everybody? Where is everybody? And what came to me was, you are everybody. You're under the false illusion that everybody is up and around you. And you know, you have this false thing that everyone is external to you. But your teaching right now is to recognize that you are everybody. You don't have to look outside yourself for anybody. You are everybody. And this is like really weird. And I just left it at that and rose. So by my intention to just rise, so I just rose from this, the depths of this, heart of wisdom, I guess you'd say. And I rose from it, and realizing that this is, in order to do this, it's going to take a while, and I have to practice, and I have to be patient, and I go down a few steps, and then I I attune myself to the frequency there and adjust my own inner um, frequency, and then I go a little more down. So and then until I can comfortably descend to the depths that I did today, and thankfully survived it, and then rise up. And also the rising has to be slow as well to acclimate the energetic field within me. So the experience of this was very powerful and very surprising. I'm not even saying I'm grateful yet, because it was very uncomfortable. And but I learned an important lesson, and that's take it. I got to take it slowly right now, and it's okay to descend. In fact, that's my path, but it has to happen so that I can um exist, or I can't, I don't get too activated. I can um yeah, I can be in the changing, shall I, frequencies, pressures, etc. I can exist, and for what reason, I don't know. I ask, okay, so I'm down here. Okay, I am everybody. So what? And then I was uh led to just like a very deep peace, and it was a different kind of peace than I say the word peace because I don't have a word that actually reflects what it was, but so I'll say peace. So I was in a very, even though uncomfortable, very deep peace, or yeah, I guess I'll just use that word. And the um trans shall I say, mutation of the frequency of peace just so it's going to take my body time. I already said this a million times, but it's going to take my body a while to acclimate to this. And so it was a feeling of transformation. It's a feeling of deepening, a feeling of not irresistible, uh, irresistible deepening that somehow, on some level, I okayed. I said yes to, and even though it was kind of really foreign, um, and I'm not jumping for joy on all. I mean, my response is kind of like, still feeling the kind of the shock of it a little bit. And but it's not fear that I feel. It's like it's not that I want to run away. It's just not familiar. I guess that's the word. I'm not used to it. And um yep, think that would be it, all that I wanted to share right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Beautiful.
Exactly. That is great. Thank you so much, dear.
Mm.
Mhm.
Sure.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a different dimension right now. It's going to take me a little while to move out of it into everyday self
Why not stay there?
because I have to feed the dogs and I mean I definitely need to come back,
Mhm.
but again it's intense, and it's not like, it's not easy to be in that state. But I know it's growth for me, it's deepening, it's all of that. On a certain level I know it's this movement into our 5D reality is done not without sacrifice. And,
Mm.
letting go of what's comfortable is not easy. Anyway.
Wonderful. And also, I want to ask you something. Would you say that part of that is about grief for changing for our old dimension?
Um, Grief. Um, hmm, that's a good question. Uh, Maybe grief is there, but what I'm feeling more is the shock of this experience and and the mixed emotions of just, okay, it didn't happen. I don't want it. No, no, no. And knowing that this is the next step for me. And the grief, it's like good grief, right? So it's like, yes, I am letting go, but I also know that that's necessary. And um so yeah, it's not a good answer for you. It's just, again, the grief is probably buried, probably to come up later. Or it's been coming all along, and that's more like it, probably. Feeling the grief as I wake up in the morning, I'm like, why can't I be happy today? I want to make this my peaceful day and my happy day. And it's very often grief, feeling, oh, I'm going to have to let this go. I have to let that go. I have to let this go. Where do I belong? Yeah, that's all these big questions. I'm a stranger in a strange land, you know. But anyway, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yes, it's really important what you were talking about. Um, I would say that each person has their own way to move into this frequency,
Mm-hmm.
fifth dimension, but stay with each one to understand and be stable through that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that about the storm, but don't get wet. Do you remember?
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. And this is the anchor that you're talking about. Is it? Mm-hmm. And the reason that Baba Siddhichan has begun this to help us to understand what is happening. God bless you to all of you. Well, all of you who have your own soul contracts are working. Thank you. Okay. Gian Das Prem.
Satnam.
Satnam.
Signs, yeah. So for me, I guess noticing through the personal experience, and through the learning of the, rising up at that time of night, from levels of consciousness, right? When we sleep, we're at a different level, but we still have the consciousness working inside there in the background, right? Sometimes it gives us a vivid dream. Sometimes we'll wake up to not knowing most of the time. We wake up at that time and it's been showed the Amit Veiler, right? So today I was seeing two of my guides. One of them is a male, one of them is a female, and they both have just these young looking faces with smiles on them, and their eyes are really what directs the energy. And I was just noticing through my history the recollections of things that I have and places that I've been, and the ringing in my ear, how it can change, into certain things, but it's normally from the right ear. And I was brought back through my memory to a hearing test of, you know, you get into that room and you shut the door and, you're not supposed to hear anything, but boy, that ringing, it almost gets louder. And, I would just sit in there and it became comfortable to me for that way. And, sitting in a chair sometimes it's just so amazing, or a place that we can become comfortable, right? And I was seeing different ways for us to come into that relaxation technique of being able to find the subconsciousness's letting that. Where is the training? Some of it's in our heart, right? Others are ways that we're exploring with other people, whether it be through music or breath exercises or something, right? So we're doing a practice here. So if we sort of follow that direction of, okay, even if it's when you wake up, you can't go back to sleep, it's a good idea to get up and move around a little bit, because it's known that, that'll help us to relax back into going to sleeping. So just take 5 minutes. So, and there's that compass inside of us, right? That's adding a certain knowing, and that can allow us to come through certain practices, which will open up that way of, coming through the chakras and understanding the different parts of our emotions. And, it can open up other things, other places, other lives, or things in our memory that are coming back through in different ways to allow us openings that we can see coming into real time, right? The 5D, the reality of the working of energy and the fruition of planning. And if there's no threat, there's no need to bet. And now can become a yet, right? The constant yet, like a Waheguru. And for me, sometimes it's like a choice of a guy playing an instrument. If you're doing sort of a freestyle, you're going in with no preformed notion, but you may have an idea of where you want to bring your rhythm. But when you get going, there's parts of us that are working together through the brain, and we're instruments in a hearing test. And I think that we're witnessing that, the dreaming through other parts of our surroundings and our working with our inner energy, and it brings us a chance to notice that the while we are here now, and there's the signs that we can get from the earth and the way that we're moving through these senses and physically in the form that we're in, right? Like the fish in the tree, the bird and the bee, there's fruits to bear, and there's like these seeds aligning with truth, with the needs within the needs of those seeds, and then Wahiguru, right? Um, Bringing in that back to the senses, and what I'm getting is I wrote down left brain, think to right, and come up with the balance, right, and challenge my voice box a little bit more with that deepness in the energy of going into the octaves, and challenging myself a little bit more to bring up that fullness, right? As just with our exercises, as we're tightening up from below and we're breathing it up, right? And then we're bringing it up through the solar plexus, and then that little bit of congestion there, right? If we're not getting the air all the way up through, that can be a challenge. Part of what she mentioned here. So the proper diet, right? The amount of water and whatever else we're mixing into there, but the toning can help with that a lot with the vibration. And it was just bringing me to noticing, the pace within that, like having a respect for that, and within the meditation, the traces that were going to come through. And what it showed me was swinging, the ergonomics of swinging. And we can do it from a chair. We can simply move back and forth, or if we could get to a swing, there's props that we can use. Yeah. And what I was seeing was geese, and the sweet song that a geese has, how it sort of has this it sort of sounds like a cry, when they fly over, but it has this range in there that it has a fullness to it that can allow us to feel a little um range of emotions through the tone. And I'm just noticing that as a passing over, how the sound reflects and how it reverberates and echoes, for that to come back to the spinning infinitely as we are here. Yeah. And I have a circle with, a cross in the middle of it. It's just, 4 pieces of pie in there. So it's all for us to share, right? For the coming back to, if we can offer that food and that little bit of sending off our love with each other, then that's good for our grounding, like, because the birds they ground, they put feathers on the ground, and the humans, they put dander in the house. So yeah. And then I was given a couple of rhymes after that I can put together, but it's just so beautiful to have this group here to come into this sort of facing the challenge of this truth, and being with all of these, items and things that we're working with here to become part of this new way for freedom. Yeah. So Waheguru, and for me it was, I am ready, I am here, and just sometimes just focusing on a single vibration HUD You know, we can say HUD or we can say hey or for, you know, just breathing into that simplicity. If we can start out small, that's okay. Well, hey, Guru, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Love, love, love.
Thank you. I appreciate all that. Okay, Salt City.
Satnam, geez. This is Sut City. And thank you for being here and for this incredible opportunity in fellowship. So I've had a really interesting um, experience at least for the last few months. And I didn't realize until today, with understanding this shift, with really getting the information about it, that the process, I've been undergoing this process for quite a while. So of late, and for the past few years, I've had increasing challenges with memory. And what has happened since we spoke last was a total, complete, 100% shutdown of my short-term memory, which has had enormous effects. And I'll just go through it right now. That number one, couldn't work at all. And I would be told something, like something, and I couldn't within 5 to 10 seconds, I could not remember it at all. So I've been in this space and place and time navigating from soul because couldn't depend on anything else, and following intuition because I had no idea where it was. I had no idea how to get to where I was supposed to go, and I was told, someone said, "Oh, you're supposed to you have a doctor's appointment. You have acupuncture appointment." And so I had to go through. The situation was so bad. I had to go through this organization, and I forget the name will come back to me, where I had neurological testing. I was sent by Advocates, which is Teddy Kennedy's mental health facility here, they were very alarmed by people treating me because in the past I've had, psychiatric disorders, quote, psychiatric disorders. So I had to be on medicine for really serious depression, which is inherited, and it came with psychotic features. So I would, have hallucinations, oral and visual, and I just, my doctor's from Africa, Dr. Galiwango, and he was like really alarmed by what was going on. But I was given the gift of acceptance and chill and oh well, this is just the weather right now. So I was sent for a psychiatric evaluation, and it turned out, according to modern science, but it's also very spiritual, my forgetfulness was or is a product of trauma, which I've had Dr. Galloway said, well, you've had a lot of trauma. I kind of knew I had a lot of trauma, but I also didn't identify with it that much. I had been blessed to understand that the trauma, my life, whatever had happened in my life, especially like getting thrown out of the house as a pretty young kid, and it was pretty traumatic, and a whole bunch of traumatic things happened in my household. So I had what the mental health diagnosis was dissociation, which there's no, so I could be, and when they did the neurological testing, great lady, it was very interesting place overlooking a gorgeous garden, and it was kind of long and grueling with all this testing. But what was I trying to say here? What came up with the neurological testing was, wow, you have a really healthy brain. That really good care you received every step of the way, the blessings of the guru, that I was told I was going to be an institution for the rest of my life at the age of 20, when this really serious depression with psychotic features, which got misdiagnosed as adolescent schizophrenia, which is a pretty hopeless, I would say it's like a fictional understanding of the spiritual reality of people having probably precursor brain brain experiences that our teachers have been teaching us of this for the preparation for this new time. And you can ask me questions if you don't understand, if I'm not being clear. But anyway, I was never an adolescent schizophrenic, but I do have this genetic depression that came from people starving and still having to work hard in Ireland. They had no food, but they still had to go out and dig the roads. And I've talked about this before. So they had high energy with very little stores of food, but the price was a very severe kind of depression, which hospitalized me multiple times and put me on medication. That was a karma. And I have embraced it and accepted it. And through Kundalini and our Dharma have flourished with it. And then it's like, I'm not spending my life in a mental institution, and I haven't had to. Hallelujah, I could do handsprings. But what I had tackled before was this, we'll use the psychiatric words, pretty severe dissociation. And it means that the reason I don't remember anything is because I'm not there. Because this deep reflex, now it's pretty constant, of just stepping back and not being present to things. It's like the button is like permanently down on that feature. So anyway, I went through, since our last meeting the last time, a very profound experience of total, complete forgetfulness of everything except kind of long-term memory. I knew what my name was. I knew some, basic biographical information, but anything like functioning memory is still totally gone. And lots of people were very, very scared. I have a sponsor in AA. She's just petrified. And it's like the dissociation button just became permanent. So what's happened? So I went to acupuncture. There's a clinic here where acupuncture only costs $20. And the guy who runs it is a former, is in manufacturing. He just had the spiritual direction to go to acupuncture school and then opened up a clinic. And instead of $120, which I could never afford for a treatment, it's only $20. And he said, the Chinese know exactly what to do about this. Ancient wisdom. And it's called the crown. And it's 20 needles at the top of my head, right at the crown chakra.
Mm.
And it goes on for 45 minutes, and I do it once a week. So always already there's a blessing in the challenge. And I feel like I've been gifted to be going through the process of what everybody's going to experience, and have the preliminary experience, and I can help a lot of people. And teaching yoga, I was thinking, oh geez, I have not been able to work for quite a long time, and luckily I don't have to pay rent, but that's ending and I have to make some money. So I was thinking, oh goodness, what should I do? I haven't had a career in teaching. I go back to tutoring, et cetera, et cetera. But I just became really clear. Soul like tapped me on the shoulder and said, oh, don't worry about it. We have it all set up. You're going to be a part of this new profession for people with addiction, which I've had, and I go to AA pretty much every day except for Sunday, which is a very profound contemporary spiritual path. And what the instructions I get, and it feels totally right, is your job is going to be to, under the guise of, addiction, but it's all about soul awakening. Because in order to, it says right in the big book of AA, and I've experienced this, sobriety only comes when you have a spiritual awakening. And for me, in doing the steps, I said, wow, I think I'm a victim, but when I've done the steps, I see that God has been with me every single step of the way. I've been, self-created disasters plucked out of the fire, really challenging psychiatric issues. I got all this, every help I ever needed. So, and Kundalini yoga, I got the gift of Kundalini, becoming part of this Dharma. I got the gift of meeting Siri. I got the gift of meeting Japa Saraswati, each one of you. It's like, I'm not a victim. I'm like an utter victor. And I can share that with others. So the instructions came under the guise, because it's easy training to get certified. I'm a certified recovery specialist. I will be assisting people, and I'm so excited about it, with having a spiritual awakening themselves, realizing, wow, I have a soul, and I can live through that, with that soul, and interact as a soul with other souls. It's such a beautiful way to live. So my employment problems, I have a plan. I see it's going to work out just great. Right up the street is a place called Smock, which is a totally integrated psychiatric, psychological, economic engine for this county that I'm in. And they're all over the state of Massachusetts. It's something, the state of Massachusetts. So I forget, Southern Middlesex County Opportunity Council. And they just take really good care of people in every way they need: food, housing, sex, medical care, blah, 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 blah. So I feel so grateful for everything, especially being part of this soul group and our soul journey together. And I guess I don't really need a memory. And I guess it's been a portal and opening to living from soul, because I don't keep relying on my brain and my fears and my psychoses or impairments or blah, 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 blah. It's forced not having a memory. And I think it might get better. I get little flickerings that it's going to get better. And I have a friend who had a brain injury, and she taught me how she lives with no memory, because her brain's injured and she has no memory. And people, whenever I have now, walk around with a little notebook and a calendar. So I agree to do something, and I write it in the book, and then I write it on the calendar, and I check the calendar, and I'm able to function living from soul without the ego and the memory and the mechanisms of everyday self, and able to kind of operate from the core center of soul, and then the other everyday self stuff, which does need attention. I do have to pay my taxes, stuff like that. I have some responsibilities. I have to get my car inspected, and if so I don't get stopped by the police and blah blah blah. I've been saved because Massachusetts traffic cops and cops in general never stop anybody with out-of-state plates. So I still have PA plates. So I've been living here 5 years, and I have an expired inspection sticker, even though I've had the car inspected, and I can't get without. Oh, this is another very interesting thing. My birth certificate has just disappeared from planet Earth. I have to get it. Have to have a birth certificate in order to get a license in Massachusetts. I've, registered. They keep telling me, nope, we need. I've tried to get tested. I've tried every shenanigan I could possibly do to get a license in Massachusetts. And it's like, nope, nope, you have to have a birth certificate. So what is happening now is have to have an attorney to my sister, Teresa Blades is her nickname, for her name's Therese, killer attorney, and her helper found out that I do have a birth certificate in the Bronx and not even in New York. That's why nobody's been able to find it. And maybe eventually or soon I'll get it back. But I'm just saying all these stacks, the scaffolding of my everyday life and everyday self and everyday spirituality is collapsing and has collapsed in quite large ways. And that has just liberated me to consciously, with giftedly, lovingly, so gratefully live from soul. And I think that's, I hope I'm making sense. And to, my impairments, supposed impairments in this world of living from soul, my depression's treated, but the dissociation, I guess I should tackle that as part of soul, has forced me to not be able to rely on my memory as a kind of everyday life self. I hope I'm making sense. Please feel free to ask me any questions. And I'm gonna Satnam and pass.
Thank you so much. God bless you, dear. Well, God put it all together. Isn't that amazing?
All together.
Yes.
And it can be scary. I mean, it was really a scary stage when I first realized I had no I really had no memory anymore.
And you have no ego anymore.
Right. Because yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You can use CNR
Yeah.
to
That
let go of karmas. The karmas at this time are really, really important to let go. And it goes quickly so that we can go into the fifth dimension. That's what's happening.
Would you agree that the fifth dimension is just living a total transformation where we to survive we have to live from soul?
That's exactly right. Because that's how you can move with clear frequency. Do you see that?
Yes. What's fallen into place for me is decades of listening to develop intuition. Yogi. That was from the very first day we went to our first solstice together, Siri.
I remember.
Yeah, it was all about. Remember how I just would, I have hallucinations. There's these rings of fire running down the tantric line. It's just third eye opening, and that's living from intuition, and that means no memory.
Well, can I say, people, what was happening? That was during tantric, and then you came to me and said, "Oh, now I'm seeing this big white ball over between those two lines of people. And she
Yeah.
said, "What is this?" And I said, "Oh, I just said, oh, that's just time trick."
Wow.
But she was, she kept saying, "What? What's happening?" But
It
she
was,
did it. She did it.
and
You were
it wasn't
good.
scary. It's just like so bizarre and unique and like, wow.
That's right.
But I think what I'm living from soul really means living on intuition and not ego and not and all
That,
the other stuff that distracts us from soul.
that,
So, and
and that,
memory is a big part of that.
that's right. And that's what happens through the fifth dimension.
Mm.
And we're being not being able to let go of those terrible things that we believe. Evidently, we can't believe what was happening. And if you see very little things that happen because you're not doing news anymore. And it
Right.
comes, you go, "Oh no, don't do that." No, stay with heart breath
So,
immediately. Stay with that. Okay. Thank you so much.
thank you all so much. I couldn't.
Okay, Japa Saraswati.
Satnam, uh,
Satnam.
I had so many conflicted feelings and thoughts during this video, and afterwards in digesting it, and I'm just sort of honoring the space for the complexity of having um differing thoughts at once. So I'll start with saying that I found it very likely that there was hypnotic suggestion involved in the videos, in
Mm.
the video, and that they started with a list of symptoms that we might feel, and then reiterated it about halfway through the video. And I felt that that was hypnotic suggestion to feeling a certain way. And then they followed that up with they being the video creators, followed it up with some really fear-based, fear-provoking imagery and prophecy, and went then on to talk about deadlines, which
Mm.
they said if you're seeing this in 2025.
Mm.
So I thought, I wonder when this was created, but it turns out that that video is only 2 weeks old. So I don't quite know the timeline of the creation of the video. Um, like they might have created it before and then only produced it in the last couple of weeks, or put it up in the last couple of weeks. Um, but I also found that the Instagram had a bit of an ableist um,
Mm.
slant to it, that it was like, I'm doing fine and there will be a split and you can choose to do fine or not do fine.
Mhm.
Well, and that um I didn't care for. Um Also, in the main video, the reminder a couple of times that we have all consented to doing this, to being here, to participating. And I want to say that that was um interesting for me, because this is a tactic that cults use in telling people you are always free to leave, which then makes the person complicit in their own abuse. Um, and it is um, I think that we are all in this group specifically susceptible to cult abuse, and
Mhm.
that was hard for me to see on the video, to listen to. Um, and yeah, I felt that there were elements of coercive control.
Mm.
Um, and then I was wondering, this timeline, this is where my conflicted feelings come in, because this timeline lines right up with, like, right now on the news, we do have military personnel telling the officers and the enlisted men that that this is a holy war. And
Mm.
I do feel that there is something going on um, time-wise. And I wonder if watching the video or contributing to the video, like, I remember once I was going to Haiti, and I thought it was a sign to go because I had run out of toothpaste in Massachusetts that morning, and I thought, yep, I'm just gonna hop on the plane and go. And I really felt like I was going off into Never Land. I felt like I was going off into the end of the world, and then and then 2005 happened, and I think about it when I buy new tubes of toothpaste, that the world didn't end and that I still have teeth. And um yeah, and so even if this is a holy war, um we're still going to exist through it. We're still going to have teeth on the other side of it. And those are my those are my thoughts on this right now.
Thank you.
So what you're talking about with the whole holy war
Mhm.
Yeah.
was karma for um what? Because the Christians were still against
Muscle.
what? The Israeli things? It's still going. Okay, now here's something that I really, really want to see. Japa Saraswati. I have seen her as extraordinary intuitive. But when she was talking about all this stuff, it was all about listening from EDS.
Ooh.
But I did not hear that from her soul.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's
So,
true.
mhm. So now, and these days, it's, and that what happens is there to be against truth. No truth for that, like for those news and so on, and still using for old religious. Do you see that?
Yeah. Well, Siri
It's all
Gian,
happening.
this YouTube channel that we are even storing the recordings on, perhaps it is my everyday self that is feeling concerned about spreading and disseminating this information as though it is fact, because of the high potential it could have to harm somebody else.
Yes,
And that
and you're
that is
right.
not
And
something
that's
that I'm willing to do without my everyday self speaking up.
no, and that's very important. She did that. very good. And things, as far as we know, things are going to get more and more terrible. Okay, so that's the time that we have to understand what is happening. How do you hear that for what is truly true? Do you understand that? And it's very important to see on the EDS on the one side and find soul on the other side. It's very important to understand both sides and then decide which side you want. Japa Saraswati, do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm getting everyday soul.
Yay.
That's where that's the compliment there.
Mhm,
I get that. That's beautiful.
mhm.
Oh, why, Guru?
That's right. You got it. And that's the time. Pretty soon, the people will find out what is really happening.
Because, Siri Guion, do you think it's okay for the people who are high up in the military to tell their subordinates that this is a holy war? Do you think that's okay to say, even if those people believe it and know it? Do you think it's okay for them to say to their constituents?
No, that's crazy. As far as I know, because everything that comes from this administration is untruth.
Well, what
Why?
think
Why?
Anything is from them. Okay, anybody?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes, I would say that everything is for this uh third it no this administration is, as far as I can say, this administration is directly from Antichrist.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, I know that this is bringing it very close to home, but I'm thinking about my childhood dentist who
Yes.
he abused a whole bunch of kids in my hometown, and we started an abuse survivors group, over 500 of us, with who have all really horrific stories about the dentist. And when we had a big Zoom meeting a while ago, I had the realization and the understanding that this guy was a dentist. Like at the beginning of his career as a youth, he set out to heal people's mouths. And now we all as a group are talking about fifth chakra dysfunction
Mhm.
that all of us had, and we can correlate it to really early fifth chakra trauma
Right.
from the dentist. And I suddenly did see him as this portal for, or an instrument for doing this healing, that we all had this great path to heal on. But that does not he put himself there um through a series of violations. He put himself there through violating professional and personal boundaries over and over again in many different ways. And it was not right, even if the healing was what happened in the end. That does not excuse his behavior. And I see the administration in a similar sort of light, that they have done this through a series of uh, tremendous violations, personally, professionally, ethically, every which way.
You got it.
and that that even that I don't buy it that we consented to this. That doesn't.
Oh, wait a minute. Each one is about learning.
Each
You,
one may be about learning, but I'm telling you that I don't believe in saying that the victims, quote unquote, consented to the abuse, and therefore the healing was the end good, and that makes something okay. I can get
oh,
behind.
no, you don't say
Okay.
because it was good. I'm not saying about that. Go ahead.
Well, yes, so that is it. And the same with the Trump administration. Even if it does end up with our collective healing, I'm not willing to give the person a pass by with the idea that we have in any way consented to it. Because I don't believe in that. And that's yeah.
Okay, so for me, being a healer, and by seeing that over and over again, I have seen what people have had terrible things, terrible traumas. And then see what Sat City was talking about. See, she had been through all of those terrible things, and she had finally listening from soul
Oh,
to
yeah.
let go, finally to let go. And then she now knows higher within her uh, learning.
And
And
can
and
I just
and
add that that was a transition from victimhood to victor, which was another higher step in my spiritual process. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
yeah, so I have seen that happen many times.
I do you see I don't know if anybody saw what Harimandir just uh texted to us, but
No,
she
please.
replied to the Delores Cannon Instagram video about 10 minutes ago or so, and she says, reminds me of my Christian Science upbringing. If you're sick, it's your fault. There has to be a better way to say it. Her levels remind me of the Kundalini levels for teaching, which is more like a business model. So, what is the technique she is teaching? Who can find a link where she teaches that?
Well,
I thought that was really right on time, Hattie Munder.
right. And uh because the idea that is happening, that includes politics, religion, and family, and so on. Okay. Now, as far as I can tell, um, that I was able to teach about soul, and that was from Soul and Baba Siddhi. So I truly hope that that would help other people. That's all I can tell you. To find out what his truth really is, and it's right there from our own heart. That's it.
Um, can I jump in,
Yeah,
City? Um, oh, it just was on the tip of my tongue. Just give me a minute. What I love about this conversation is how it expresses both. It reminds me of William Blake's Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience, and they're so polarized. It's innocence poems versus the experience poems, which are really about terrible things happening. You know, in the first part, Songs of Innocence, it's a beautiful little lamb frolicking with its mother on a grassy hill and idealized, you know, medieval England, versus the slaughterhouse, where these innocent, beautiful creatures are destroyed, torn apart, brutalized cruelly. And what Blake always emphasized, and I'm wondering if it's helped, I think that helped me a lot in my own life, recognizing what Blake was always trying to use these opposites to produce something truthful. And the truth is, it's not like exact verifiable truth, but like truth with a big T. So I got the name Satsui, so I was really interested in this. I didn't know it because I hadn't got my name yet. But that's transcendent reality. That's actually a beautiful place because it has fused these alternatives, polarized opposites that don't get you anywhere if you get stuck in either one. If you're a total innocent, you're an idiot. The world is really a harsh place. And if you're a total, you know, the world's consumed by evil, you're also in a tough spot because there is goodness in life, even with all the evil. So the transcendent truth was always something that addressed, always included. And I think what's important about this conversation is that both, it's two different points of view, but they fit this kind of paradigm that Blake used to talk about and struggled to deliver in his work, which he didn't really wasn't able to. He died before he was done. So there you have it. Anyway, I hope I'm making sense. You got to
Yeah.
have both polarities to get to reality.
True
And
reality.
yeah, to reality. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So, for me, I'm going to stay with pure neutrality. Okay? No,
Right.
no fear. Stay with heart breath. Let Aagia Pal about her, what did you call that? That that ruby heart crystal,
Yeah.
and stay with that, because this is happening not because from her brain, but she could feel it's coming from deeper than that.
So
And this is a free will planet, right? So
You
what
got it.
what I feel is that on a certain level, I've made a decision to allow this. I could have, as City was saying, I could go the other way and
Yeah.
said, forget it. I mean, this is ridiculous, and I just want to live my life. And but again, given that it's a free will planet, I I chose what I think it resonates the most with my heart.
There you go. Okay, I'm going to, maybe you all have seen this from me. In 1975 to 1976, I had lots of other things, and what do you say, images, and what do you say, you seeing things and so on. Then I heard a voice, and it said that you are going, wait a minute, no, that the world is going to end. And I said, oh, I said, oh, well, how do I help them? How do I help it? And I said, oh, I couldn't figure that out. I went through a number of people who knew that the end would be changing. And then I said, but how can I help that? And then within like 2 weeks after that, then I got Yogi Bhajan. And he was talking right there exactly about all of that to help. And I'm sorry that there are two different sides to happening from Yogi Bhajan, and I don't understand the whole thing. But just saying for what I had done from meditation and yoga and so on has been, and also teaching other people after what would happen in such different situations. And I am so grateful for that. So that's my side, that my belief or my knowing is about. And then that was able for me to listen from Baba Siddhi Chan. So that was why I would, that was my contract, basically. Because about a month ago, I walked through a labyrinth, and what I heard was that that was right, that I would continue. That was my path. That's it. So that's what I keep up with. Okay, and I'm not trying to get to tell you about any part of this, because that's not good. Because the only part that you know about that is because your own soul within your own heart. That's it. Oh, and or you cannot have it. That's up to you. It's not my problem, basically, because my thing is to be able, from what I was listening from, and not to tell you, but I'm just, how can I say, just hoping or hearing, or that was just whatever you could have that or not. Okay, that's it.
Can I just jump in and say, it's so beautiful that different people, what's so good about group conscience and being traveling together is that everybody's contribution is like a piece of the puzzle adding to the full picture. I
There you
really
go.
love it about this, and that people feel so free to speak their truth.
That's right.
So helpful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There you go. And here we are.
Here we are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So thank you so much, everybody.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Yeah. And thank you, Japa Saraswati.
Thank you,
That was
Japa.
very good. Thank you. Okay.
Muy importante.
What?
Very important to
Huh?
have all the puzzle pieces.
Right. Okay. Oh, so that was 50 years ago. 1975 to 1976. Okay. Oh, and I want to tell you, during the winter solstice, before, before, uh, before Christmas.
Yeah.
That was a time I had nothing in my brain, let me tell you. And I didn't know what to call this. And that also happened with my daughter and my granddaughter. And then also with another lady named Elizabeth. Do you know, she's a healer? And
know of her.
that same thing. Okay. And so we just decided, oh, look, that's the next process. So what can you say? Or you can just say, oh, it was really a bad cold. Whatever.
That's the time.
Okay.
It feels like making love to you. Yeah. What's that song? Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
time. Feel like
Thank you. It's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Japa Saraswati, would you like to lead our song?
please.
May the
Love,
long time sun
love,
shine upon you.
all
All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Mhm.
None.
Why get it?
Bless you all.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
have a
Such
wonderful week.
have a wonderful
Love you
Bye,
all.
everybody. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Love you, love
Adios.
you, love you.
Adios.